Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming for the press conference held jointly by NIT and IEEE. Sorry for starting at a delay today. Thank you for your patience. The purpose of today's press conference is to announce a global alliance between NIT and IEEE to enhance employability of engineers. Making the announcement, we have with us today from IEEE, we have seated in the middle, Professor Roberto Di Marco. He is the President and CEO of IEEE. Accompanying him on my immediate left, Mr. Harish Mysore. He is the Director India Operations, IEEE. From NIT, we have with us today Mr. P. Rajendran. He is the Executive Director NIT. And accompanying him, my far left, Mr. Amitabh Lahiri, President Futures NIT Limited. To begin the announcement, may I first please call Mr. P. Rajendran to share his perspective on NIT's focus on enhancing employability and the relevance of the alliance in today's times. Mr. Rajendran.
Good afternoon, friends from the press, media, electronic media. Today is a very different type of alliance which we are announcing. So far, I'm sure that you have covered us when we tie up with Cisco, EC Council, etc. over time. But this is different because what is IEEE, though they will talk about it later, it's actually a institution which is run by the members. Now, who are the members? Members are technologists, members are industry, members are academicians, and they are people who are creating the future as far as technology is concerned. We are excited that we are going to be working with them and getting, as a knowledge partner, getting their knowledge into our courses, specific courses, for certifying the Indian engineers. What it means is that what we are doing in terms of employability, and I would not like to say pure employability, I would like to call it employability enhancement, which means if a person doesn't have a job or getting into a job, new fresh engineer, getting this certification actually makes it easier, more relevant to the industry as he gets a job. If he is already inside a company and then he wants to enhance further, then there are the next few levels of certifications which he can take. Overall, it's about employability enhancement for the Indian engineers and also bringing him or her more and more onto the global stage for competing on world as a stage. So NIT, I'm sure that all of you don't need introductions. We have, even in our current operations of the company, we have approximately 40,000 enrollments from engineers every year. And out of these 40,000, there are at least 75 to 80% of them take the track which is for software engineering. You know that we will have different tracks. There is a hardware track, networking track, a software track. So about 30 to 32,000 students already enrolled. And our belief is that by bringing in this additional opportunity to these people, we will see a kind of resurgence of higher quality engineers coming into this industry space. Beyond that, we also think that technology is no longer for the technology companies. Technology is making the difference between one healthcare institution and another, one bank and the another, and the defense, etc., etc. So it's also important to look at certified high quality engineers in all other types of companies who are using technologies to create competitive advantage in their marketplace. So we believe that into these in the employability enhancement for people who are already employed, we would see engineers from not just the technology space but non-technology space also coming to get certified. We have done a lot of work in terms of taking NIT courses inside colleges and universities. IEEE is also present in another avatar in many colleges and universities. I think that this synergy will help us in also taking some of the IEEE certifications now into colleges where we work inside. So overall for us, we see this as a great opportunity to work with IEEE, whom we view as people who set standards for the industry, who, like I said, really have the mix and the connect of the academicians and the industry as we are putting, as they are charting the future of technology and technology applications and the human interactions with technology. And the last, of course, is in most of the other alliances, these are all based on specific technologies from specific companies for specific domains. IEEE is technology agnostic. It's not about any particular type of technology. It's about a domain. And I think that will set us also into that stage of more like generic education, which can be applied to different domains. So with that, I would like to close my comments, and a big hearty welcome to Veto, to this country and to this stage. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rajendran, for your opening remarks. Now, may I please request Professor Roberto to share his perspective on the quality of engineers, how he sees it globally, and how IEEE has been interacting with them, and his perspective about the trends that he sees. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. We are here then to share the news of this very exciting partnership. It's a partnership between two organizations which have a global footprint, two leading organizations that have a global footprint, that have very respected brands. IEEE, it's, as just been mentioned, trust, quality, excellency are some of our core values, and have been like that from our beginning, the very beginning. Our founders, two of them were Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, and so they're people that really excel in the profession, that gave us a lot of contributions, and this continues up today. We have 19 of the top ranked publications in electrical engineering in the world. We run very popular standards that we developed, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and also now we want to do similar work in continuing education and skill development. And of course, you have to find the right partner to start here in India. So we established this relationship in IT. There's a clear change on what will be the workforce of the future for engineering. And one characteristic, of course, is that engineers will have to be lifelong learners. So you cannot stop studying, stop learning. No longer able to I got my degree and that's it, I'm going to work. Not true anymore. You're going to have to keep studying and working and perfect your skills. The other important issue is that there will be much more workforce mobility. The market now is not a local market, not a country market, it's a global market for professionals. So we like to, every country and every person should try to be a professional which has the skills required to compete in a global market. That will open a lot of doors for you in your career, in your life. So that's what I'd like here to contribute, collaborate with NIT, and also contribute to the India engineers to enhance their skills. We are starting this with an area of computer software, computer engineering. We have a long tradition also in this area. We have a IEEE Computer Society, which is the largest society in IEEE, with about more than 60,000 members, has been working in India in some of these programs for more than 10 years. So it's good to partner with an organization which has more than 30 years in this field. And so we're going to have to provide the content that our experts have developed so that the NIT can spread that among the engineers and software developers in India throughout the country and maybe the future in the different parts of the world. They already have some penetration in areas like Africa, which we also like to reach and help, and maybe we can do that together in the future. So it's a real pleasure. I'm very, I have great expectations of this collaboration. I think India is already a very important part of IEEE. IEEE is the largest professional technical organization in the world with 430,000 plus members. India is about 10% of that, so that's a big contingent. It's the second in the world in country-wise. The United States is first, India is second, and you have the largest student membership in the world. So this gives us signals great potential for the future. And I'd like to have as much as possible the participation of Indian engineers. They're very good, and I think it makes us richer. And the more we perfect the skills, the more we'll be able to benefit from the collaboration and contribution of these Indian engineers. So again, it's great to be here. Thanks very much for your words, and I will pass the floor back to the chairman.
Thank you, Roberto. That's for the global perspective. And now may I please request Mr. Harish Mysore to talk about the unique attributes about the partnership and the offerings being announced. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. The relationship with NIIT and IEEE in this case, it is very symbiotic. You know, we are a place where world comes to further the knowledge for the benefit of humanity. In India, NIIT is a household name which has helped to create the quality jobs in this country and train people who are the global workforce across the world. And NIIT's reach in India, there is no second to that. IEEE, while it can focus on developing new programs which can be delivered, we will never set up a center of our own to train people. That's not our area of focus. By working with NIIT, we can really reach to the places where otherwise on our own we will never be able to reach. We can conduct one workshop, but we will not be able to reach 500, 600 centers in India by no means. We are a society, we will not have either the resource or the ability to do that. That is one. And the second, the certificate which is issued by NIIT and IEEE together. Let's look at what will employers look at. A global recognition of the quality and the standard of IEEE and the training ability of NIIT. That will be a sure guarantee for a young aspiring engineer to get a job anywhere in the world. It's not just in India. Hence, you are trying to make job ready for the global workforce. That's what the future is going to be. If you look at the demographic of India, that we keep hearing about it nowadays, we will be the future workforce because we have the youngest population in this country. So even though we are starting with the software engineering as the primary focus for this, as we go along, we are looking at other programs. The next one in the pipeline is VLSI, where we can create very high quality jobs in this country and train professionals to perform very complex engineering operations. And embedded systems, power engineering sector, because there is a huge demand to expand the power sector in India and make the grid smarter. Robotics, which is an area where India is lagging behind compared to countries like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Germany, and United States, and many other countries. And then also on the renewable side, where the energy gap and not reaching energy to major chunk of population in India. These are the areas we would like to work at. These programs will also be offered through this partnership. And also let's look at the priority. What's the priority of the government today in India? Skills development. What we are talking about is the skills development to create the high quality jobs which are the backbone of the economic activity in any country. That is the priority of India. That's what this partnership is going to contribute to. With that, I would like to close my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Harish, for sharing the perspectives. Now, may I please request Amitabh Lahiri to share specific highlights about the roadmap for implementing the IEEE programs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for your time. I don't think I need to explain the rationale behind this partnership. It has been very well articulated by the speakers before me. I'm going to share the specifics of this in a short-term basis or on a short-term basis. Like Harish mentioned, we are starting with the training programs in the software engineering space from the whole stack of programs that is available with IEEE. And we are doing so because there is no standardized way of training in this discipline across the country, which leads to a whole lot of non-value add, wasteful activities in the software industry. And with this training that we are talking of, it enables the industry to get consistent proficiency certified by a neutral agency. So that is the objective that we are kind of pursuing, which is to provide superior, neutrally certified proficiency to the industry. In the software engineering stack, there are three big ones that are there in the stack of IEEE. One is known as the SWBOK, which is the acronym for Software Engineering Body of Knowledge, which kind of leads to a certification called SCP. And then there is the Certified Software Development Associate CSDA, and the last one is Certified Software Development Professional, which is CSDP. So the only difference between all these certifications is the profile of the individual who is taking it. So for example, SCP is suitable for those professionals who have 0 to 2 years of experience. CSDA is suitable for those who have exposure of 2 to 5 years. And those who go for CSDP would be people who have more than 5 years of professional experience. So it is the segmentation has been done based on the exposure that the individual has. We will start with SCP, as I said. The program is agnostic to processes, to platforms and domains. And as I said, it is a neutral certification. Therefore, it brings consistency in evaluating the proficiency of an individual. The SCP program actually consists of 4 modules. Since I'm sharing the roadmap, so I'm going into a little bit of detail, but it's important. So these are 4 modules, which is focusing on software foundation, software development, software lifecycle management, and software professional practices. Each module is expected to be a 25 learner hour program. Our focus would be engineering students or students from the engineering world, so that they can become better citizens of the software engineering space. We expect to train about 40,000 engineers in the first 3 years. So I would rather kind of stay with a 36-month horizon than go on a shorter period. So this is the beginning, and we are starting with one domain, but as Raju mentioned and Roberto also mentioned, this is the first step, and as we go along, we will expand our footprint. So that's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Amitabh. So before we take the Q&As from the press, may I please request for unveiling of the plaque to commemorate the partnership. So if somebody could just help bring the plaque in the middle, and I would request Roberto, Raju, Amitabh and Harish to please step forward and unveil the plaque. And we can have the camera persons just line in. Yes. Yeah, please. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, Rajesh, if you can just guide for some, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, one more round of signatures, please. Yeah. Harish, will have to just. Great. Thank you so much. Yes, we are available for Q&A. If you have some queries, you can ask them now. Yes, please. Right there.
Okay, hi, I'm Swati from Cogensis. I want to know how many engineers you want to train in this partnership, say within the first year, and what will the fee structure for this be like? And will this be available only for engineers who've graduated or for people who are mid-graduation as well?
Okay, so we meet again. I said we plan to train 40,000 engineers in the first 36 months. Giving a forecast, 40,000. First year would tentatively be in the range of about 5 to 8,000 engineers. And as we kind of go up the learning curve, it will accelerate. So that's one part. And as also I said, it is the SCP program comprises 4 modules. And each module is of about 25 learner hours, which means the entire SCP would work out to be about 100 learner hours. Each module is going to be priced, and these are, our initial estimates about at 4,500 rupees. Now, foundation in software engineering, for example, is something that I would suspect would be applicable to a student in system as well. Whereas professional practices would be something that would be relevant to someone who could perhaps be on the verge of graduation or perhaps also would have graduated and is practicing. So it is the entire spectrum of the learner ecosystem that these modules will be applicable to. Is there anything else that I have to answer? That answers your entire question? Okay.
Hi, I had a question. One, how many centers will this be available in this certification? And the other thing, I'm a little confused when you say it's a 25-hour module. So is it like separate modules, separate certifications, or is it one certification and you have to take the different modules?
So when I say how many centers, see, we have to map the centers to the engineering institution world, which is we have in the country in excess of about 500 centers. So we are in the process of mapping where would be the concentration of colleges, because the students can then avail the center presence to learn. So theoretically, it's 500 centers that would be available to the students, but it has to be mapped to be relevant to the student. That's one. Each module enables you to take a certification. Okay? And taking all 4 modules enables you to take another certificate. So does that answer your question?
But are there certain centers that you have zeroed down on that these will be the starting centers where this certification will be available?
Yes, there are.
Or some cities that you could point out?
Yes. See, for example, the concentration of engineering colleges would be more in south to begin with. But that does not mean that we are not going to focus on north. So as I said, we are mapping it, but in terms of concentration, I would suspect that, south of Vindhyas, it would be to start with, but we will roll it out across the country.
And by when do you expect to start these modules?
Sorry. When will we launch it? Anju, do we have the date frozen? Month of December. The rollout will happen by then.
Yeah, you asked about the engineering, which centers. So, like you said, our experience in terms of our own enrollment of engineers coming today, that gives us our first demographic distribution of engineers. Then we have to see, it is possible that some places we are not selling enough. They don't even know us. So this is an opportunity to aggregate and bring some more of those centers in. There is a very important part which is ensuring that the faculty is certified. So pinpointing the centers, pinpointing the faculty, certifying them, getting them ready is a parallel process by which time the material is ready and we can launch the course. That's why December, end of December, mid of December makes sense.
Partnership enabling for engineers. So it is for all engineering streams or basically for IT or software?
Yeah, so the student may be in any stream of engineering, but if he wants to do a certification, this is actually the content is computer science, software engineering. The relevance, and this is very important to understand, if you roll back 20 years or 25 years, everybody who would come for our course, if we had announced this at that time, would have been electronics engineers and computer science engineers. What's happened in the last 25 years is that it's an integral part of mechanical engineering. When you're doing some simulations, when you're doing some design, it is part of the civil engineering. So increasing proficiency of the engineer using technology in his domain and excel in that domain is also another part. So to cut short all this, yes, engineers from any engineering stream, yeah.
So it is for the basically graduates or diploma holder also?
No, so primarily it is for graduates, correct me?
And what will be the sir, course fee, duration, and what is the job opportunity after finishing your course?
So, first thing is, and we believe that having an NIT certificate itself gives a certain positioning in terms of job offer. Second is by getting this in, one of the other evangelization which will go on from IEEE is to work with the companies, and companies, he had given some examples. Worldwide, there are a whole lot of companies who will say that if you have the IEEE certification, then it is definitely an extra mark for you when we are hiring people. We have couple of companies in India already, but that is our opportunity. Making more companies do what other companies are doing worldwide on one side, and hence creating more opportunity for NIT to convince the engineers that by getting this, you are far more employable. That's exactly what we're doing.
And what about the sir, tuition fee or school
He
fee?
talked about it, yeah.
So for each module that we are looking at, we have initially thought of 4,500 rupees per module. There are 4 modules, so therefore that would be the range of the fee for the program.
And duration?
25 learner hours, we have to kind of schedule it over a period of time. That is, if you look at 2 hours every alternate day, you can calculate as to what will be the calendar duration.
You said you are starting with software engineering, but the foundation, the skills which you impart to the students, will it be something which they can use across the spectrum in the engineering field, or is it will be very role specific?
I think Raju just kind of talked about that, but I'll just repeat. In terms of the focus domain, this is software engineering. Okay, so for example, one module is the foundation of software engineering. However, today we know that IT and software knowledge gets used across domains of engineering, and therefore somebody who has a fair understanding of the foundation, whether he is a mechanical engineer, and therefore the applicability of that appreciation cuts across CAD and CAM, would be relevant. So if you ask me, primary focus is the first launch that we are doing is in the domain of software engineering. However, that is applicable to a broad-based engineering discipline. Did I answer your question?
In fact, in the surveys, like Aspirant Mind, which they conducted last year, one of the major lacunae which they found in engineering graduates was the lack of hard skills and even the technical skills. They don't even know how to operate basic computer? I mean, will this also be addressed as a part of the foundation program?
So, as a part of our routine training that we do in our centers, that is exactly the gap that we address. This is going to augment that learning process and provide a neutral certification to say it has been. So what you understand is, like, there are many companies these days who are asking you for a GATE score. Okay? BHEL, many companies. Now what it means is that you are an engineer and you have a GATE score that enables, which is a neutral or a consistent evaluation process, and they can therefore decide to place you where you are. This would be something similar, because IEEE is not kind of supporting any specific institution or any specific discipline. They have a way of first providing the knowledge and then evaluating the individual. So it gives you a consistent benchmark to evaluate the individual. However, if the individual is lacking in the knowledge of how to use a computer, well, to some extent this will address, but I think the basic learning that happens in the IT field in the center that is what we do as a living. That is what we train people in. So this will be an augmentation and standardization of certification, which is acceptable internationally.
Just to close that, so today if you have any student like that, tell us. We'll first take him into NIT, give him a certificate, then we'll show him this, and it will become relevant. See, till he reaches there, this is not relevant to him. And once he reaches there, then this is relevant, he can do this, then he can do the next certification as and when.
And also in terms of the programs which the students know, I mean, most of the companies say that it is not relevant to what they want or expect from, a graduate.
So let me put that part into perspective. It's very important to understand this. So you have, let's say, 1.5 million engineers on roll. So let's say 200,000 engineers who come out every year. You have X number of companies, which I will call as the upper class is the wrong word, but the top companies. Their expectations from engineers is of one kind. Then there are, so these are the technology companies. Why? Because they have customers waiting there, whether it's the US, whether it's India, who expect in certain time certain things are delivered. Then there are other companies where there is already an SAP, already there is software, they have to ensure that the software is working. We need engineers trained into this there also. So there are different types of role. It's so difficult to generalize and say that today's engineers are not employable. I'm an engineer, so I'm not defending this, but I know what happened when I came out of college, right? There used to be companies, I came out of college 40 years back, okay. Companies would come to campuses, they will test all of us. But what they're really learning is how long lasting is this guy in our company? Will he learn? Will he be able to do things? After that they take us, they put us into a 6-month training program. It doesn't matter whether you are a topper in IIT, whether you are the last guy in IIT. If they take you to go through the 6-month training program. At the end of that, then they can force rank, saying, okay, out of these 40 people we took, these 36 guys are okay, these 4 people are not okay. What will happen? Typically, these 36 guys will get one type of job, let's say analyst or whatever. The other 4 people may or may not get a job, or may get a job into some other functional area where computers have to be used. So, I just want you to take it with a little pinch of salt when we say that engineers coming out are not employable. If every engineer coming out wants the best of jobs in the best of companies, it will not happen. We're talking about a huge number. And suppose I go for an interview to a nearby good company and they don't take me. You will have one data point. Well, look at him, he's an engineer, he went, they didn't take him, he's not employable. Wrong. That data point doesn't serve any purpose. I know that the survey after survey has been talking about it, but I just want to put into a little perspective. We are also recruiting people, we are also creating engineers in NIT University. All that is happening side by side.
So, but will this certification which you are talking about will bridge the duration of training which the companies will
Absolutely. Absolutely, there's no question about it. I would like you to comment.
Yeah, let's say a few words about several things here. First, I don't see our collaboration here to stop at software engineering. I hope that you evolve to other areas where IEEE also has expertise, has content like wireless communications, biometrics, cloud computing. All these may be important for India. India has a major program in biometric identification. India has a national now program in cloud computing. So there are all kinds of things that can be generated from this collaboration to improve the skills for the technology of the future. Now, the whole thing about what employability is, first of all, in my opinion, the one problem is that industries do not want to invest in training as much as they did in the past. So they want someone else to do it. Now, universities usually have the more, let's say, theoretical universities, which are more fundamental, which is very important to create the leadership of the country. And those are criticized because they only give you the fundamentals, don't give you the applications. Therefore, there's a gap to be bridged between the fundamentals and the applications. And of course, in the past, the big companies will do that, and now they want to shorten this. The other part is that you're talking about is that engineers that come from universities or colleges without having the proper background. And these people definitely need some additional training. Again, you don't need all engineers in the country to be the very sort of engineering scientists or high-level conceptual engineers. You need engineers for different functions. So also the amount of training you do or directional training you do is different from, and it's very important that the country realize that you cannot have one single type of engineers. You have to have several types, which will be coming from different ways of training, from graduate schools, from institutes like NIIT, which will give you the skills for the market is requiring, and that's very important. And going forward, I don't see any country being successful in this world in the next 20 to 50 years without having engineers and good engineers. If you don't have good engineers, your country will be in trouble. So it's very important that you have to do this training to qualify better the engineers in all directions, in all levels, so they can perform functions that are required by industry. Be more applied, more conceptual. You need all of them. And we are trying to collaborate here to kind of level the field for all of them so they can get a good job and contribute to the country.
I have a question. Apart from this partnership, so what is the benefit to be a member of IEEE for an engineer, other than to participate in conferences? So my question is to either Professor Robert, being a member of your IEEE, for any engineer.
There are several benefits, but in my opinion, the most important benefit is being able to work and network with the leading professors in the world. So you have a global community, which of course it has in different areas, but we have the top experts in our community, and if you're able to interact with them, collaborate, network with them, that's a big plus for a career. And then of course you can go into more specific benefits like a continuing education courses, be able to participate in student development, go participate in conference. But I didn't say here, for example, the Nobel Prize in Physics that was just awarded. 2 of them were IEEE members, 23. 23 Nobel Prize were part of IEEE. So we have the people who developed TCP/IP or FDMA. They all participate in our conference, our communities. So that for me is and it's global. So that enhances tremendously the employability of a person if he knows people, good people over the world. And so that for me is the biggest benefit.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions, then we are available for one-on-one questions. We are at Indoor venue itself. And then thank you. That brings us to the end of the press conference. Thank you, friends from the media and ladies and gentlemen, for coming for the press conference for the Global Alliance on Enhancing Employability of Engineers, announcement by IEEE and NIIT. Thank you so much.